In a market flooded with SUVs, sometimes you just want a small, efficient hatchback, and luckily Mazda still has you covered with the 3. This is Chris here with Daily Motor, and today we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test on the 2023 Mazda 3 hatchback all-wheel drive. Before we get started, let's hop out, take a look at it. This particular Mazda 3 is the Carbon Edition, which gets you some black wheels, black grille, and optional red interior that we have on this car. I've always loved the Mazda 3, and I've been a big fan of the turbocharged cars that we've had in the past couple years, but this is the first naturally aspirated car that I have driven, so I'm excited to see just how efficient this thing is. The EPA rates this thing below where I would expect it to perform, so I'm curious to see how it will do on today's test. So, yeah, pretty decent looking hatchback. Let's go ahead and get started with the test. So why do we perform this test? Well, the EPA's fuel economy test, which gives this all-wheel drive Mazda 3 hatchback 33 MPG on the highway, only averages 48 miles per hour. And we know that some people like to take their cars on actual road trips. So what we're gonna do today is go out 50 miles and back 50 miles, averaging 70 miles per hour to get a more real-world figure. A couple of things worth noting for today's test. Outside temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to be running the climate control inside the cabin at 73 degrees auto. Tire pressures have been set to their factory door placard indicated 36 PSI cold, and we will be using the same gas pump both times using the same 3-click filling method to get the most accurate results possible. Let's go ahead and hop out, grab our first fill. Just about 7 gallons even going in there. I feel like I always pick the gas pumps that have a puddle in front of them, or a small lake in this instance, but yeah, 7 gallons going in there. Let's hop in and get started. MPG is reset. We've got our climate control on 73 auto. We shall set off. Now, only one drive mode on, well, I suppose 2 drive modes here on the Mazda 3, either sport or off. So we're gonna run today in off or normal or nothing mode to get this Mazda 3 the best chances at meeting its EPA estimate of 33 MPG. There's a fellow Mazda enjoyer over there with a CX-30. This highway is about a half mile away. Gonna drive nice and slowly until I get there, and I'll update you all once I am merging on. Now, the purpose of this test is not to hypermile. I'm simply going to merge onto the highway, set the cruise control to a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour, and just drive like any normal person would. We're gonna get merged on here safely. We're gonna have to rev this thing out a little bit because it's not the turbo, so we don't have the gobs of low-end torque that you get with that car, but we'll get up to speed pretty decently here. And we will set our cruise control to what I believe is 70, no, it's 73. We'll drop it down 1. We should be comfortably 72. Nice, okay. So what do we have as far as driver aids here on this Mazda 3? Well, we have adaptive cruise control, which you can adjust with this little switch here on the right-hand side, right next to our cruise control speed adjuster. Otherwise, that's about it. Under first highway impressions, it's quite nice. This is a pretty slippery design on this car, and especially going through the back with that C-pillar being very large and flowy, I guess you could look at it as. I expect this thing, honestly, to do pretty well. I have high hopes, mostly because the CX-30 that we had a couple of weeks ago, I don't know the exact number, I should have checked before we went, but I want to say that car got 33 on the highway, so this should do better. This should do 34, 35 is kind of what I'm expecting, but we shall see. Wind intrusion seems good. Tire noise seems not too bad. I mean, it's pretty quiet in here. The seat's nice and soft and supportive, so I'm going to go ahead and settle in here, and I will update you all once I am towards the end of my journey in the Mazda 3. Wrapping up our drive in the Mazda 3 and indicated on the cluster 36.9 MPG. So actually even higher than I thought this thing was going to achieve on the test. What is that? 4 MPG over EPA's estimate. So a pretty good performance, at least going off of what the cluster has to say. We'll have to wait till we get to the pump to see what the readout is on there and judge it based off of that. But overall, this has been a really nice drive here in the Mazda 3. The Bose sound system in this thing is excellent. It's like A tier, which is crazy for a $31,000 little hatchback to have that good of a sound system. So I thoroughly enjoyed myself listening to the Bose, and otherwise it was quite nice as well. The only thing that was a little bit irritating is when the adaptive cruise control decided for about 5 minutes of the journey that it wanted to stop working. However, I forgive it because it's been raining and it's possible there was just a big drip of rain on the front, or maybe some sort of dirt got on there or something, but it sorted itself out. And after 5 minutes of trying to manually maintain speed, it decided to start working again. So no real complaints, honestly, here with the Mazda 3. It did a great job, and these Mazdas are really just the best bang for your buck. I mean, they provide incredible value for money with this high-end experience in this thing. The sound system is just so good. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and top the Mazda 3 up on some petrol, and I'll let you know once I have brimmed the tank, and we'll see how we did. 2.685 gallons going in there for our final fill. Let's put this up, hop in, and see how we did. Today's trip was 98.16 miles. We'll go ahead and divide that by the 2.685 gallons of regular fuel that we put into this Mazda 3 hatchback, and that gives us 36.5 MPG, rounding up there to 37 because we're reading out on the cluster high 36s. So we'll go ahead and award the Mazda 3 with 37 MPG. Quite an impressive number here for not only a small hatchback, but also a all-wheel drive car with all of these features in here. So not too bad there. Now we'll go ahead and multiply this by 12.7, as that is our fuel tank capacity. And that gives you an effective highway cruising range of 460 miles, which is pretty decent considering 12.7 is a somewhat small tank. And that is one of the shortcomings of Mazdas, is you do often get small fuel tanks. But honestly, if you're getting 37 MPG, 460 miles cruising on the highway is quite a ways. So that's it. There you go. 36.5, 37-ish MPG, 460 miles of effective highway cruising range here in the Mazda 3. So that'll wrap it up for us today. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Chris here with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.